If you're in the mood for something lighthearted, there's nothing better than firing up a comedy on Netflix. It can be tough to find the right comedy for you in Netflix's massive library of content, but thankfully, we've narrowed it down to some of the best films offered. Let's take a look at the 10 best comedies on Netflix for July 2018. The best friend or romantic partner conundrum has been a mainstay of Hollywood rom-coms since When Harry Met Sally premiered in 1989, but we continue to enjoy seeing twists on the same formula nearly 30 years later. In Sleeping with Other People, Jake and Lainey hooked up in college only to go their separate ways. When they run into each other 13 years later, the two decide to stay friends, only for their sexual tension to get the better of them.
We think you two are the coolest married couple ever.
We don't get that
so
enough.
Sweet.
Thank you.
When awkward teenager Mia learns her father's side of the family is of royal blood, she'll need to be taken under the wing of her grandmother, Queen Clarice Rinaldi of Genovia. While in training to become the princess expected by her grandmother, she'll also learn to gain confidence in herself, and maybe even teach the queen something about having fun and falling in love.
Place the hands gracefully on the knees.
It might be the less remembered of the two films, but Looney Tunes Back in Action put Space Jam to shame. Directed by acclaimed filmmaker Joe Dante, Looney Tunes Back in Action strikes the heart of what makes those original cartoon shorts so fun to watch. When his father is in trouble, DJ Drake will team up with Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and Warner Brothers executive Kate Houghton to rescue him, all while embarking on a wacky, globe-trotting adventure.
So just how are we supposed to get to Paris? Like this?
Goon tells the story of Doug Glatt, a bouncer turned minor league hockey player who takes up the position of enforcer on the Halifax Highlanders after finding success on his local team. When Glatt, a kind-hearted but dim-witted man who tries to do the right thing, gets in the way of his hero Ross the Boss Rhea, things promise to get bloody as the two go head-to-head on the ice. Forgetting Sarah Marshall tells the tale of Peter Bretter, a struggling musician who is best known for dating Sarah Marshall, an actress who stars in a CSI-like show opposite Billy Baldwin. When Sarah returns from a trip only to break up with Peter, his life is sent spiraling out of control. Convinced by his stepbrother to take a vacation, Peter arrives at a resort in Hawaii, only to discover Sarah and her new boyfriend Aldous Snow are also staying at the same resort.
Peter,
Hey. Hi.
what are you doing here?
Came here to murder you.
Really, what are you doing here?
Wet Hot American Summer was panned upon its release in 2001, but thanks to its cult following, the film is now considered one of the best comedies of the 2000s. Featuring an ensemble cast with major names like Amy Poehler, Paul Rudd, David Hyde Pierce, Bradley Cooper, Elizabeth Banks, and many more, Wet Hot American Summer follows several counselors in training at Camp Firewood on the final day of camp in 1981. With an irreverent sense of humor and a deep level of silliness, Wet Hot American Summer is a must-see comedy. Action parodies have never been better than Hot Fuzz, the second film by Edgar Wright. The film stars Simon Pegg as Sergeant Nicholas Angel, a once overachieving officer in London sent to the peaceful countryside town of Sandford in order to ease his colleagues' jealousness. There, he meets Constable Danny Butterman and his father, the inspector of the town. Though things seem fine on the surface, Angel slowly begins to realize there's more to the town than it seems, following a series of violent accidents that seem too suspicious to be true.
And what is this?
Seymour.
An almost beat-for-beat parody of the Johnny Cash biopic Walk the Line, Walk Hard introduces viewers to Dewey Cox, a Cash-esque persona who becomes a rock star throughout the 1950s and 60s. With fictional cameos and parodies of stars like Buddy Holly, Elvis Presley, and the Beatles themselves, Walk Hard is an absurdist take on a biopic genre, all while managing to tell a compelling story.
There's two things you need to know. I'm the king, and number two is look out, man! Look at that, they're coming at you. You see that?
In this classic Adam Sandler comedy, Sandler stars as Happy Gilmore, an aspiring hockey player who excels at just one thing: slap shots. After yet another failed hockey tryout, he's distressed to learn his grandmother owes back taxes of nearly $300,000. While hustling golfers at a local course to help raise money for her fees, Gilmore meets Chubbs Peterson, a club pro, who offers to tutor Gilmore in golf to earn a spot on the PGA Pro Tour. Gilmore accepts, but only after making an enemy in pro golfer Shooter McGavin, who wants nothing more than Gilmore off the course.
All right, let's go. Oh! You like that, old man?
When Peter Venkman, Ray Stantz, and Egon Spengler are all forced out of their positions at Columbia University, the three men decide to start up a brand new business in the paranormal, Ghostbusters. Often considered one of the best comedies of all time, and renowned for its mixture of horror and comedy along with Bill Murray's deadpan delivery, Ghostbusters is a must-see for new and old fans alike. That wraps up our top 10 lists of the best comedies on Netflix, but make sure to check out these other top 10 lists and subscribe to our channel for new streaming suggestions every month.